Let's get right into it. Number 10, emotional Wi-Fi lag. Picture this. Someone bumps into you, doesn't say sorry, and your brain immediately boots up the wrath.exe program like it's been waiting all day. But here's the twist. Most anger isn't caused by the moment itself. It's caused by the lag. Your emotional Wi-Fi is running on 2 bars, and your brain keeps buffering the insult until it becomes way bigger than it was. See, your nervous system has this fun little feature called delayed appraisal, which means you react first and understand later. It's the psychological equivalent of clicking buy now before checking the price. And because your brain hates uncertainty, it fills in the blanks with disaster scenarios. He bumped me. Maybe he disrespects me. Maybe society is collapsing. Maybe I should move to the mountains. Calm down, Thoreau. But if you want to stop getting bothered, the secret is basically emotional airplane mode. Instead of instantly interpreting the moment as hostile, you train your brain to pause even for half a second and let the lag catch up. That tiny space is where your logic wakes up and goes, "Bro, he didn't even see you." Relax. It's not about becoming emotionless. It's about letting your internal Wi-Fi upgrade from public airport hotspot to private fiber connection. Suddenly, people stop being personal threats and become mildly annoying NPCs. Way easier to deal with. Number 9, shrinking the spotlight. Imagine living inside a spotlight that follows you everywhere. Grocery store, elevator, dentist's office, even when you're picking which yogurt looks least suspicious. That's what your brain does by default. It assumes everyone is watching you, judging you, and keeping score like some cosmic Yelp review. This is called the spotlight effect, and it's one of the main reasons people get bothered so easily. You think that stranger's neutral face means they hate you. You assume that your small mistake was broadcast live on national television. Spoiler, no one cares. They're too busy worrying about themselves, their bills, and whether they left the stove on. When you shrink your imaginary spotlight, something magical happens. Other people lose their supervillain status. Suddenly, the rude cashier isn't attacking your soul, she's just on hour 9 of her shift. The guy who didn't text back isn't plotting your emotional downfall. He probably forgot what day it is. Half of human behavior is simply people being overwhelmed, tired, hungry, or temporarily unplugged from reality. If you want to stop getting angry or bothered, stop starring in your own imaginary reality show. You're not the main character in their story. Sometimes you're barely an extra. And honestly, that's kind of liberating. Number 8, the inbox theory. Imagine your brain as an email inbox, but not a clean, color-coded adult-level inbox. No. More like the kind of inbox that has 4,927 unread messages, half of them marked urgent by your anxiety department, and the rest are spam from your childhood. Now, every time someone annoys you, it's basically another email landing in that chaos. Someone cuts you off in traffic? Ding. Your coworker accidentally breathes too loud? Ding. Someone mispronounces your name for the 40th time even after you corrected them? Ding, ding, ding. Here's the psychology part. Your brain isn't reacting to each annoyance. It's reacting to the pileup. Cognitive load, emotional fatigue, and unprocessed stress make tiny things look huge. It's like stepping on a Lego brick. You don't scream because of the plastic. You scream because it's the final straw holding your sanity together. If you want to stop getting bothered by people, you have to clear your mental inbox, not by spiritually deleting your feelings, but by giving annoyances a cute little expiration date. Not everything deserves your attention. Some emails you just archive, some you ignore, some you mark as spam forever. Once your brain realizes it doesn't have to open every emotional notification, people's behavior starts feeling less like an attack and more like tiny floating dust particles, mildly irritating, but not worth setting your whole house on fire. Number 7, borrowed thunder picture. Someone doing something mildly annoying, tapping their pen, breathing like a cartoon walrus, or chewing chips with the enthusiasm of a gravel-eating goat. Your brain instantly fires up the anger engines. But half the time, that emotional storm isn't even yours. It's borrowed thunder, the psychological habit of reacting louder than the situation because you're carrying emotions from somewhere else. Maybe you're stressed, hungry, dehydrated, or just spiritually done with humanity today. So when someone else behaves normally but annoyingly, your brain goes, perfect. Let's unload everything on this one moment. In psychology, this is basically emotional displacement, turning people into punching bags for feelings they didn't create. You're not mad that your partner left a dish in the sink. You're mad because your boss sent you a 5 p.m. email titled, "Quick Question," which ruined your entire will to live. The fix? You stop treating every annoyance as a personal insult and start asking, is this today's emotion or leftover emotional leftovers from 2 hours ago? Once you separate the thunder from the cloud, people stop having the power to hijack your whole mood. They become background noise, the human equivalent of elevator music, present but not emotionally devastating. Number 6, the mental mute button. You ever notice how some people talk and your brain just leaves? Like their words hit your ears, bounce once, and then slide straight into the void? That's basically the mental mute button, and it's a lifesaver if your goal is to stop getting bothered by every human who insists on producing sound waves near you. The truth is, not everyone deserves front row seats in your nervous system. Psychologists call this selective attention, the ability to decide which stimuli matter and which belong in the cosmic recycling bin. Most people use this accidentally. You're trying to focus, and your brain says, hey, what if we ignore our responsibilities and think about soup instead? But when you use it intentionally, it becomes a shield. Someone's trying to drag you into pointless drama? Mute. Someone's arguing loudly about pineapple on pizza? Mute. Someone's trying to make their insecurity your responsibility? Hard mute with noise cancellation. Muting doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to donate your mental energy to situations that don't deserve it. You stop giving every loud person a ticket to your emotional arena. And once you master that, annoying people transform from emotional threats into background characters whose dialogue your brain simply doesn't subtitle. Peace achieved. Number 5. The NPC upgrade trick. Imagine walking through life and realizing that 80% of the people who irritate you aren't actually villains. They're NPCs, non-player characters wandering around doing NPC things like blocking aisles, walking slow, breathing loudly, or existing in your general vicinity. This isn't to dehumanize people. It's to right-size their influence on your mood. Your brain evolved for tribal living, tiny groups, predictable behavior, everyone somewhat coordinated. Modern life? Thousands of strangers, all with conflicting priorities, caffeine levels, and life traumas. So when someone acts inconvenient, your brain treats it like a threat instead of a normal Tuesday. But here's the psychological upgrade. When you mentally reclassify people as NPCs, not enemies, not problems, just side characters with their own glitches, your emotional load drops instantly. That man yelling on the phone at 7 a.m., NPC on hard mode. The woman cutting in line, NPC with a bug in her moral settings. The coworker who always interrupts you, NPC with the dialogue override perk. Reframing people this way isn't rude, it's survival. It helps you detach, stay amused instead of angry, and navigate the world like a chill protagonist who refuses to waste mana on minor characters. Suddenly, you're not bothered. You're observing. And honestly, life gets way funnier that way. Number 4. Emotional judo. Imagine someone throwing emotional punches at you. Passive-aggressive comments, tone-deaf jokes. I'm just being honest. Insults disguised as feedback. Your instinct is to block, fight, or unleash the ancient art of let me tell you why you're wrong. But emotional judo teaches you to do something far more powerful. Don't fight the punch, redirect it. In martial arts, judo is all about using the opponent's momentum to your advantage. Psychology has a version of this called cognitive deflection. Instead of absorbing the insult like a sponge full of trauma water, you mentally step aside. Someone says something rude? Instead of your brain going DEFCON 5, you think, they're projecting, or interesting choice of words from someone who still doesn't know how to park. You're not repressing your feelings. You're reassigning the energy. Their negativity becomes irrelevant data. You start realizing most rude behavior isn't about you, it's about their stress, insecurity, or questionable life decisions. You become emotionally slippery, untouchable, in a I'm too mentally moisturized for this nonsense kind of way. Soon, people stop being emotional threats. They're just tired souls throwing low-effort negativity that slides right off your upgraded non-stick psychology. And honestly, that's a power move. Number 3, the vending machine rule. Picture someone demanding emotional output from you the way people demand snacks from a vending machine. They push your buttons literally expecting anger, validation, apology, reaction, anything. And because humans are programmable little creatures, you often give them exactly what they want. Enter the vending machine rule. If you don't give people the reaction they're fishing for, they eventually stop trying to pick a fight with you. It's basic behavioral psychology. No reward, no repeat behavior. When someone expects you to explode and instead you respond like a calm raccoon who's seen too much, uninterested, unbothered, emotionally off the grid, they get confused. Their internal drama coding glitches. You suddenly stop being the easy emotional snack and become one of those high-tech vending machines that only accept obscure payment methods. Hard to use, not worth the effort. People who thrive on chaos get bored because you offer zero emotional calories. This isn't about being cold. It's about refusing to let people train you into reacting. And once they stop getting reactions, they redirect their drama cravings elsewhere, usually towards someone who still gives them free emotional snacks. That's right. You become scam-proof. Number 2, the zoom-out hack. Imagine your irritation as a close-up photo. Every pore, every flaw, every tiny inconvenience looks massive when your mental camera is zoomed all the way in. Someone talks over you once, and suddenly they're the spokesperson for all disrespect ever committed in human history. Your neighbor's dog barks and you're ready to write a 400-page manifesto on noise pollution. That's because your brain is stuck in microscope mode, which exaggerates tiny annoyances into life-ruining catastrophes. But here's the trick. When you mentally zoom out, everything shrinks. You remember that your life is bigger than this moment, this person, this inconvenience. It's like switching from a grainy close-up to a satellite view. Suddenly, the thing that felt enormous is just a single pixel on the giant map of your existence. Psychologists call this cognitive reframing. You're not ignoring the problem, you're resizing it. You're reminding your brain that you've survived breakups, job drama, ruined plans, existential crises, and at least one haircut you still regret. And you're letting this person's comment ruin your day? Please. Zooming out gives you emotional altitude. With altitude comes perspective. With perspective comes peace. And with peace comes the wonderful ability to say, "This isn't worth my cortisol." Your brain calms down, your anger dissolves, and the annoying moment becomes a tiny blip in the rearview mirror where it belongs. Number 1, radical detachment mode. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that other people's opinions, moods, comments, facial expressions, passive-aggressive sighs, micro-judgments, and questionable life choices have exactly zero power over your emotional weather. That's radical detachment mode, the final boss of not getting angry or bothered. This isn't apathy. Apathy is, I don't care. Radical detachment is I care, but not in a way that drains me or controls me. It's emotional minimalism, keeping what matters, discarding what doesn't, and refusing to let people rent space in your head without paying security deposit and utilities. The psychology behind this is self-differentiation. It means your identity, mood, and self-worth don't fluctuate based on someone else's behavior. Someone's rude? That's their emotional mess. Someone's upset? That's their weather system. Someone tries to pull you into drama? That's their storyline, not your subplot. When you master detachment, people stop being emotional thieves. You don't absorb their stress like a human sponge. You don't internalize their opinions. You don't ride their mood roller coaster. You become a quiet, stable, emotional fortress with excellent lighting and no available vacancies. And the best part? Once you stop reacting, the world stops poking you. Annoying people lose their power. Drama loses its allure. Anger loses its grip. You become effortlessly unbothered, the final evolutionary form of emotional peace. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.